Low drive, low energy, weak mornings. It's not age, it's diet. These three fruits fuel your body and manhood like nothing else. Stay to the end. 99% miss the last fruit, and that's the one that actually turns your mornings back on. Silent sabotage. When a man sits across from me in my clinic and we talk about his testosterone levels, the first thing I often see is a sense of resignation. The assumption is that this is just the price of admission for getting older. But aging isn't the cause, it's just the context. It's the stage on which a much more complex play is unfolding. The real story begins much earlier. Around age 30 or 35, testosterone production begins a slow, gentle decline, about 1% per year. For many, this is barely noticeable. But for a growing number of men, that gentle slope becomes a steep cliff. Why? Because of invisible forces, chronic stressors that accumulate over decades, like dust settling in a machine until one day, it just doesn't run the same. Let's pull back the curtain on the three main culprits that are actually driving this hormonal decline, especially in men over 60. The first is what I call the body's civil war: chronic inflammation. Inflammation is meant to be a short-term rescue mission, your body's SWAT team rushing to an injury. But when that team never stands down, when the alarm bells are always ringing, it creates a state of low-grade, systemic chaos. Think of it like trying to run a delicate factory in the middle of a smoky, noisy construction site. That's what's happening to the Leydig cells in your testes, the very factories that produce your testosterone. A major review in endocrinology found a direct, undeniable link between inflammatory markers and reduced testosterone. The smoke of inflammation chokes the machinery. Production slows down. The whole system becomes less efficient. It's not one big event. It's 1,000 tiny paper cuts to your hormonal health day after day. The second culprit is a modern epidemic: insulin resistance. This is a big one, and it's deeply tied to our diet and lifestyle. Our bodies are designed to handle sugar, but not the constant, overwhelming flood we often subject them to. When your cells become numb to the call of insulin, your body has to shout louder, pumping out more and more of it. This creates a hormonal tug-of-war. Research from some of the world's top institutions has shown without a doubt that as insulin sensitivity drops, so does testosterone. It's a vicious cycle. Low testosterone can worsen insulin resistance, and insulin resistance crushes testosterone production. Your energy, your sleep, your mood, they're all caught in the crossfire. And the third driver is oxidative stress. This is the scientific term for cellular rust. It's the wear and tear caused by unstable molecules called free radicals that ricochet around your body, damaging everything they touch. Over time, this rust builds up, weakening the delicate tissues in your testes and even in your brain's hormone control center, the hypothalamus. It's a silent process that degrades your internal communication systems, making it harder for your body to send and receive the signals needed to maintain hormonal balance. Now here's where the hope comes in. This is where food, and specifically fruit, enters the story not as a source of sugar to be feared, but as a strategic intervention. Whole fruits are nature's response to these three saboteurs. They are packed with antioxidants to quench the free radicals, anti-inflammatory compounds to calm the internal chaos, and phytonutrients that help restore metabolic balance. We need to stop seeing food as just calories and start seeing it as information. Every meal is a set of instructions you send to your body. The right fruits can instruct your body to protect itself, to calm down, to rebuild. And that is a profoundly powerful shift in perspective. Crimson ally. Let's begin with a fruit that is as ancient as it is powerful, a fruit that has been revered for centuries but is only now being understood by modern science. It's been called nature's nitric oxide booster, and for good reason. I'm talking about the pomegranate. For most men, this isn't the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about hormonal health, but the research suggests it absolutely should be. Let's look at what the science actually shows, because the findings are genuinely impressive. A key randomized study had healthy men drink pomegranate juice every day for just 2 weeks. The results were remarkable. They saw, on average, a 24% increase in their salivary testosterone levels. That is not a small number, but it gets even more interesting. It wasn't just about testosterone. These men also experienced lower blood pressure, a measurable reduction in their primary stress hormone, cortisol, and they reported an overall improvement in their mood. How can one fruit accomplish so much? It's not magic, it's physiology. Pomegranates are uniquely rich in a class of powerful polyphenols, specifically compounds called punicalagins. These act as your cell's personal bodyguards. They have profound antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects, directly protecting those testosterone-producing Leydig cells from the cellular rust we talked about earlier. They create a protective shield, allowing those tiny hormone factories to do their job without being constantly under assault. But the story doesn't end there. Pomegranate has another incredible benefit. It boosts your body's production of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a fascinating gas molecule that your body uses to tell your blood vessels to relax and open up. This improves circulation throughout your entire body. And why does that matter for hormones? Better blood flow means better delivery of nutrients and oxygen to your endocrine glands. It means supporting erectile function at its foundational level. It is, quite simply, a tune-up for your entire cardiovascular and hormonal system. And then there's the cortisol connection. Think of cortisol and testosterone as being on opposite ends of a seesaw. When chronic stress keeps your cortisol levels high, it actively suppresses the command center in your brain that tells your body to produce testosterone. Pomegranate appears to gently lower cortisol, lifting that suppression and allowing your natural testosterone production to rise back to where it should be. It helps take your foot off the hormonal brake pedal. And there's one more layer to this that most men are unaware of. Pomegranate has demonstrated some very promising prostate protective properties. One well-known study found that men with rising PSA levels, a potential marker for prostate issues, saw a significant slowing of that rise after consuming pomegranate extract. The mechanism is likely tied to its ability to reduce inflammation and protect cellular DNA from damage. So you're not just supporting your hormones, you're supporting your long-term prostate health. So how do you bring this into your life? The fresh arils, those little ruby-like seeds, are a fantastic choice. Just a half cup a day gives you a potent dose of these protective compounds. Sprinkle them on your morning yogurt, toss them in a salad, or just eat them as a snack. You can also use 100% pure pomegranate juice, but be mindful of the serving. 4 to 6 ounces is plenty to get the benefits without overloading on natural sugars. Just a small glass can be a powerful daily ritual. Think of it as your circulatory multivitamin. It's a simple, delicious habit that supports your blood vessels, your hormones, and your prostate all at once. Golden fuel. Now let's shift from the juicy and tart to the creamy and rich. Let's talk about a fruit that is so often misunderstood. Yet for men over 60, it is one of the most structurally important foods you can put on your plate. I'm talking about the avocado. Most people think of it as a vegetable, but botanically, it's a fruit. And it's a powerhouse for hormone production because of one simple, fundamental truth. Healthy hormones are made from healthy fats. Specifically, they are made from cholesterol. Now, I know that word can be alarming, but we have to separate the myth from the reality. We're not talking about the damaged, oxidized cholesterol that clogs arteries. We're talking about the raw material your body uses as a building block for all of its steroid hormones, testosterone, DHEA, even cortisol. Without adequate amounts of the right kind of fat, your body simply cannot get the materials it needs for construction. Avocado provides the absolute perfect profile of fats to support this process. Here's what the research tells us. A comprehensive review in the Journal of Clinical Lipidology highlighted a strong association between diets rich in monounsaturated fats, the kind that avocados are famous for, and higher levels of free testosterone. This type of fat isn't just passive fuel, it's a biological messenger. It helps activate key enzymes in the testes that are responsible for the conversion of cholesterol into testosterone. It also helps calm inflammation and improve insulin sensitivity, addressing 2 of the other major saboteurs of your hormonal health. But the benefits of avocado go even deeper. They are a treasure trove of micronutrients that are critical for this entire process. They're rich in vitamin B6, which plays a role in dopamine and testosterone pathways. They're loaded with vitamin E, a potent antioxidant that specifically protects testicular tissue from oxidative damage. And they are one of the best food sources of magnesium, a mineral that is absolutely crucial for optimizing your active testosterone. Let's break that last point down because it's so important. Much of the testosterone in your blood is bound to a protein called sex hormone binding globulin, or SHBG. When it's bound, it's inactive. Your body can't use it. Think of SHBG as wrapping your testosterone in duct tape. Magnesium acts like a pair of scissors. It helps reduce the amount of SHBG, which unbinds or frees up more of your testosterone, making it biologically active and available for your cells to use. One study found that older men who supplemented with magnesium, especially when combined with physical activity, saw significant increases in their free, usable testosterone. Avocado delivers this mineral naturally. I often hear the concern from my patients, but won't all that fat be bad for my cholesterol? It's a fair question, born from decades of confusing dietary advice, but here's what the evidence actually shows. Avocados can, in fact, help improve your lipid profile. They tend to lower LDL, the bad cholesterol, while simultaneously raising HDL, the good, protective cholesterol. A study from the American Heart Association found that eating 1 avocado per day actually improved cholesterol markers in overweight adults, so you're building your hormones and protecting your heart at the same time. How do you make this practical? It's simple. Half an avocado with your eggs in the morning, a few slices on top of a salad, or a piece of grilled chicken at lunch, mashed on a piece of whole grain toast with a sprinkle of sea salt. Because it's so rich in fat and fiber, it's incredibly satiating. It keeps you full, stabilizes your blood sugar, and prevents the energy crashes that lead to poor food choices later in the day. Let's be clear, healthy fat does not make you fat. Dysregulated hormones, excess sugar, and chronic inflammation do. Avocado is not the enemy, it is the fuel. It is the raw material that allows your body to rebuild itself from the inside out. Purple shield. Let's turn our attention to a group of fruits that are sweet, vibrant, and, unfortunately, the subject of one of the most persistent and damaging myths I encounter online. Let's talk about berries. Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries. For years, men have been told in forums and on blogs to fear them. Don't eat berries, the warning goes. They'll raise your estrogen. It's time to set the record straight, because the truth is not only the opposite of this fear-based claim, but it's also incredibly empowering. Here is what the science actually says. Berries are, pound for pound, some of the most antioxidant-dense foods on the entire planet. They are brimming with compounds called anthocyanins and ellagic acid. These aren't just responsible for their beautiful deep red, blue, and purple colors. They are active protectors of your most vital tissues. They are cellular bodyguards that specialize in neutralizing oxidative stress and calming inflammation, the two silent forces that wear down your hormonal machinery over time. Research has shown that the compounds in berries can directly protect the Leydig cells in the testes from oxidative damage, preserving their ability to produce testosterone effectively as you age. Think of it like this. Your testosterone production is a delicate flame. All the stressors of modern life, poor sleep, stress, environmental toxins, are like wind and rain trying to extinguish it. The antioxidants in berries are like a glass lantern placed around that flame, shielding it and allowing it to burn brighter and longer. So where did this estrogen myth come from? The confusion arises from something called phytoestrogens. These are plant-based compounds that have a molecular structure somewhat similar to estrogen, allowing them to bind to estrogen receptors. But here is the critical distinction. They are not estrogen, and they do not feminize men. In fact, many of them act as modulators. They can help block more potent, harmful forms of estrogen from binding to receptors, ultimately contributing to a better hormonal balance. The concern around phytoestrogens primarily came from soy, and even that is largely overblown. Berries contain incredibly low levels, and the compounds they do contain are overwhelmingly protective, not disruptive. There is zero clinical evidence that a man eating a handful of blueberries is going to lower his testosterone or raise his estrogen. In fact, berries do the opposite by tackling another huge hormonal disruptor, insulin resistance. When your blood sugar is on a roller coaster, your testosterone production grinds to a halt. A study in the journal Food and Function found that daily berry consumption significantly improved insulin sensitivity and the function of blood vessel walls. This creates a metabolically stable environment where your hormones can actually thrive. They also support brain health, and we can't forget that the entire hormonal cascade begins in the brain, in the hypothalamus. A healthy brain is essential for healthy hormone signaling. So how do you bring them back into your diet without fear? It's easy. A handful of blueberries in your Greek yogurt, a mixed berry smoothie with some spinach and protein powder, a few raspberries sprinkled over your morning oatmeal. And yes, frozen berries are just as nutritious. In fact, they are often flash frozen at peak ripeness, preserving even more of their delicate nutrients. They are nature's candy, but they come with a powerful dose of medicine. If you've been avoiding these incredible fruits because of outdated myths, it's time to welcome them back. They are not a threat to your masculinity, they are a shield for your vitality. Sugar myth. This brings us to a bigger, more fundamental question that I hear from men all the time, especially those who are trying to take control of their health. I've cut out all fruit, they'll tell me. I heard the sugar is just as bad as candy. This idea, this fear of fruit sugar is so pervasive, but it's based on a profound misunderstanding of how the human body actually works. So let's take a moment and break this down because your body is far smarter than the internet gives it credit for. It's absolutely true that excess sugar is a hormonal disaster, but the key words are excess and, more importantly, source. When we talk about sugar-disrupting hormones, we are almost always talking about added refined sugars and high-fructose corn syrup. This is the industrial sugar found in sodas, pastries, sauces, and countless processed foods. This type of sugar delivers a massive, unnatural payload directly to your liver without any fiber, nutrients, or beneficial compounds to buffer the impact. It's a metabolic bomb that spikes insulin, drives inflammation, and promotes fat storage. That is what kills testosterone. But whole fruit is an entirely different biological reality. When you eat a piece of fruit, you are not just consuming fructose. You are consuming that sugar in a brilliant natural package. It comes wrapped in fiber, which dramatically slows down its absorption into your bloodstream, preventing the sharp insulin spike. It comes with water, which aids in hydration and satiety. It comes with a host of vitamins and minerals essential for cellular function. And, as we've discussed, it comes with a powerful arsenal of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory phytonutrients. Let's look at the evidence. A large cohort study published in the journal Nutrients followed men over time and found that those who ate a moderate amount of fruit each day, especially low glycemic fruits like berries, actually had higher testosterone levels and smaller waist circumferences than men who consumed a lot of added sugars or refined carbohydrates. The context is everything. Eating an apple is not the same as drinking a can of soda. One provides potassium, fiber, and phytonutrients. The other provides empty calories and a hormonal storm. Let's connect this directly to the testosterone pathway. When you consume a high dose of refined sugar, your insulin skyrockets. Chronically high insulin is a signal to your brain's hormonal command center to slow down testosterone production. Furthermore, high insulin can increase the activity of an enzyme called aromatase, which is the enzyme that converts your precious testosterone into estrogen. This is the real mechanism behind sugar-related hormonal disruption, but the sugar in whole fruit, eaten in moderation, simply doesn't trigger this same catastrophic cascade. So let's get practical. If you're a man over 60 looking to support your hormones, what's the intelligent way to approach fruit? First, always try to pair your fruit with a source of protein or healthy fat. An apple with a handful of almonds, berries with a scoop of Greek yogurt. This further slows sugar absorption and creates a stable, long-lasting source of energy. Second, prioritize whole fruit over juice. Juicing removes the all-important fiber, concentrating the sugar. Eating the whole fruit is always the smarter choice. And third, use fruit to strategically replace processed sweets. When you crave something sweet after dinner, reach for a bowl of berries instead of a cookie. You satisfy the craving while flooding your body with nutrients instead of empty calories. The enemy is not the blueberry. The enemy is the confusion that tells you to fear real food. Building blocks. Now that we've explored the science and dismantled the myths, let's bring it all into the real world, because knowledge is only powerful when it's applied. The best information in the world means nothing if it stays on the screen and doesn't make it onto your plate. So let's build a practical, sustainable framework for a day of eating that supports your hormones, stabilizes your energy, and is genuinely enjoyable. This isn't about a rigid diet. It's about a series of smart, intentional choices. Let's remember our three superstars: pomegranate for circulation and cortisol control, avocado for the essential fats that are the very building blocks of hormones, and berries for the antioxidant protection that shields your entire system from damage. Each one plays a unique and complementary role. So how do we weave them into the fabric of your day? Let's start with the morning. Your first meal sets the metabolic tone for the entire day. The goal is to start with a meal that is rich in protein, healthy fats, and fiber, and low in refined carbohydrates. Imagine this: 2 or 3 eggs cooked to your liking, alongside half an avocado, sliced or mashed on a piece of sprouted grain toast. On the side, a small bowl of full-fat Greek yogurt topped with a generous handful of mixed berries. This breakfast is a masterpiece of hormonal support. You're getting the building blocks from the avocado and eggs, the gut-supporting probiotics from the yogurt, and the cellular protection from the berries. You will feel full, focused, and stable for hours, avoiding that mid-morning crash entirely. Now for midday. Lunch is often where things can go off the rails, with quick processed options that spike your blood sugar and leave you feeling tired in the afternoon. Instead, think simple and grounding. A large salad with mixed greens topped with a good source of protein like grilled chicken or salmon. Add in plenty of colorful vegetables: bell peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes. For your dressing, a simple mix of extra virgin olive oil and lemon juice. And here's the upgrade: sprinkle a 1/4 cup of pomegranate arils over the top. That addition provides a nitric oxide boost that can help combat midday stress and improve blood flow to your brain, keeping you sharp and focused. As we move into the evening, the goal is to eat a meal that is anti-inflammatory and supports recovery and sleep. Dinner should be nourishing but not heavy. A simple stir-fry with lean protein like shrimp or tofu, loaded with garlic, ginger, and plenty of greens like bok choy or spinach, served with a small portion of brown rice or quinoa. And for dessert, instead of something that will disrupt your sleep and insulin, have a bowl of blackberries or blueberries, maybe with a tablespoon of chia seeds soaked in. This provides a final dose of antioxidants to aid in overnight cellular repair. Following this with a cup of chamomile or lemon balm tea can help calm the nervous system and prepare you for deep, restorative sleep, which is when your body does its most important hormonal work. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Hormonal balance is the sum of your daily habits. It's the slow accumulation of good decisions. Every time you choose one of these whole foods over a processed alternative, you are sending a powerful signal to your body. A signal of support, a signal of nourishment, a signal that you are on its side. Start by adding just one of these elements into your day and build from there. The path back to vitality is paved with these small, consistent, powerful choices. Final word. Let's just take a moment and bring this all home. If you have stayed with me this long, it tells me you are searching for more than just a quick fix. You are ready for a deeper understanding of your own body. We've established that the decline in vitality so many men experience after 60 is not an inevitable consequence of aging. It is often the direct result of chronic, low-grade inflammation, cellular rust from oxidative stress, and the metabolic chaos of insulin resistance. These are the true drivers. And finally, we've built a practical, real-world template for how to weave these foods into your day in a way that is both powerful and sustainable. But beyond all the science and the strategies, I want to leave you with one core truth. You do not need to be at war with your body. You do not need to fear the aging process. What you need and what you deserve is clarity. When you understand the why behind how your body works, you stop blaming it for feeling tired or foggy. You start partnering with it. You begin to support it with curiosity and with compassion. If you have felt that slow fade of energy, that loss of drive, that sense that the man you know yourself to be is slipping away, please know that you are not alone. And this state is not permanent. The most profound changes often begin with the smallest, most consistent actions. Choosing berries over a bag of chips, adding avocado to your breakfast, going for a 10-minute walk after your evening meal. These are not trivial acts. They are profound signals of care you are sending to every cell in your body. They are the foundation upon which vitality is rebuilt. You deserve to feel strong. You deserve to feel clear. You deserve to age with a sense of power and agency, not with fear and resignation. So here is your first small step. The very next time you eat, simply add one of these 3 fruits to your plate. That's it. Begin there. Start small, be consistent, and pay attention to how your body responds when you finally start giving it the tools it has been asking for.